The Irish director Neil Jordan and the British producer Stephen Woolley have created some of cinema's greatest cult classics, like The Company of Wolves and Mona Lisa. 20 years after their biggest box office hit, Interview with the Vampire, they've returned to the horror genre with a very different take on the undead.
I am 16 forever.
Byzantium was released in the UK this weekend. It's about a mother and daughter vampires who arrive in a small British seaside town searching for fresh blood. Well, Krishnan Gurumurthy caught up with the team, and he began by asking them what it was like to be working together again.
We haven't done a film together for about 12 years, yeah. 10 or 12 years, yeah. So, you know, I mean, it comes and goes in a way, you know, you do, and it's a complicated business trying to make films. Do you understand what I mean? So if you have somebody who, if you have a relationship with somebody that is enduring, it helps a lot, you know.
When you say a complicated process, do you mean in terms of getting the finance together, or...? Everything
about it's complicated. It's also particularly, I mean, Stephen, when I met Stephen, he was a distributor, you know, so that was an incredibly lucky position to be in as somebody who was producing films and also distributing them, you know. So you had we make a film like The Company of Wolves, which is very odd and very offbeat, very strange, but he would distribute it in a big way, like it was a big Hollywood movie, not like it was a small art movie. So to have those two things, somebody who would raise the money and, you know, take care of the publicity and distribution is a gift for a director, I think, a writer-director.
There's not the same appetite as there was perhaps 30 years ago when we started making films for dramas.
My mother lives on human blood and has done for 2 centuries.
Of course, Byzantium is a genre film, and genre films, thrillers, action pictures, comedies, there's still a niche and there's still a way that distributors can see of selling those kind of pictures. So in a sense, you have to think, you have to keep thinking on your feet about the kind of film you're making and the audience is out there for it.
Well, in terms of and the mechanics of making films here,
yeah,
and the economics of it, I mean, is it working to your advantage at the moment as an industry?
It's always been hard. I mean, since we've been making films since the early 80s, it's never been easy. I mean, when we made A Company of Wolves, there was no BFI money, there were no tax subsidies. It was the end of the tax levy. It was really hard making films then, and it's not got any better. I mean, despite the fact there is more money around. I think Neil said it earlier, which was completely correct, which is distribution is the problem at the moment. Getting films, there's 13 movies released a week, so it's tough to get films out there to the market. So that's the big problem. Actually, financing films isn't such a problem, and also shooting films in the UK is never been better. I mean, there's so much help you get from everyone in terms of not only financing but also just allowing you to shoot on locations, stopping traffic, all those things that previously, 30 years ago, when we started making films, were so difficult, and now are much less difficult. Really, it's getting your film out there in a market that's pretty flooded.
Because a couple of weeks ago, we saw the Chancellor, you know, trumpeting Star Wars coming to Britain, and that you know, that being a sort of a big breakthrough in the way they've set the industry up here. I mean, do you think there's some truth to that?
Yeah, there's a lot of truth in that. It's great to have the Harry Potters here. It's great to have the Bond films here.
Yeah, well, it's very sad as they don't make movies in Los Angeles anymore. You know, it's like, I mean, you go to California, there's no movies being made. You know.
Really?
Oh, absolutely nothing. They're all being made here.
They're all being made in Europe.
Here in Germany and all these tax shelter zones, or Louisiana. You know, it's.
But it's fantastic because what those films do is they give employment to British crews as well, which means that when we come to make our films, there's always like a big pool of fantastic talent here. And so the big Hollywood films are great for us because they really keep everything, and the studios are alive. Everything is the lifeblood of British cinema. So I hate to say I agree with the Chancellor, but on that one I do.